The things that are boring actually produce the best results. Hey, everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And, this is stuff that when you tell people, they don't always like to hear it. Because we see this all the time in the fitness world. The people who always need excitement, they need the new thing, are also the people who struggle to get anywhere. Why? Because they don't do the things that work. In other words, the things that actually will give most people the best possible results in terms of training, in terms of diet, everything else are really, really boring. They're really boring in a lot of ways because a lot of it is quite repetitive, meaning you don't need to change exercises all the time to get jacked. Okay? And I hate to have to be the one to tell people this, and I understand there's reasons we do it when we do conjugate programming, which, I've coached people to pretty big lifts on. In fact, I used conjugate to get my deadlift up over 600 in my 40s. But people who are chasing the new thing all the time are usually shortchanging themselves in a lot of ways. And it's the same thing when it comes to nutrition. Same thing when it comes to nutrition. How many people are always needing some exciting food to eat, right? You see it all the time. They're always chasing some exciting food, some exciting recipe, looking to spice things up. They're like, I need all this variety. No, you don't. In fact, I could make the case that too much variety in your diet actually is a good way to blow the diet. And that's not my opinion, that's based on research. Meaning people whose diets have less variety in terms of weight loss diets tend to eat less calories consistently over the longer period of time. So the entire idea of flexible dieting isn't even evidence-based. Man, that's almost its own topic too, right? Because all the flexible dieting, and if it fits your macro zealots going back for over a decade, have tried to pretend like their info is all scientific based, only because they track calories and macros, right? And that the clean eating is unscientific. And that's been their contention. But the reality is, when it comes to actual diet adherence, research shows that all that variety and working in the treats reduces adherence. Okay? Reduces adherence. And guess what? You'll tend to eat more calories. Now, is that beneficial for someone trying to gain who's struggling as a hard gainer? Yes. But we could also make the case that the hard gainer will struggle to track if they have too much variation. And I think that's another problem too. Right? The boring stuff is easy to track for consistency. Meaning, if you eat chicken and rice every single day, how do you adjust your calories? You just adjust your portions. And I think that's a thing that people miss with that too, when they get into those topics. Well, just eating clean doesn't work and you got to count calories, except that tons of bodybuilders for years pointed out, well, I don't really count calories, but I know how much rice I eat every day. And I add rice when I want to gain weight, and I reduce the rice when I want to lose weight. Oh my God. Does it work? Yeah, it works every single time. Because if they're eating the same things, they're always like, well, I always have 2 pounds of chicken most days, other than my cheat days. Because they'll do that. You'll see bodybuilders who did that for years. I have a cheat meal once a week. The rest of the week, they're eating their chicken and rice and vegetables, right? They're like, well, I eat my 2 pounds of chicken every day, and I have my post-workout shake, and then I just eat chicken, rice, and vegetables all day. But they'll know how much rice they're eating. They always know, well, I eat 4 dry cups of rice every day. So when they want to maintain and when they want to bulk, they'll go to 5. When they want to get cut, they'll go to 3 cups. Well, that's about, if it's dry cups, that's about 500-600 calories. And that's it. That's that simple. It's consistent. And then they can just season it for flavor. They can add whatever they want just to spice it up. You can get calorie-free seasonings and sauces or low-calorie ones. Hey, if they want some variety. And it works. It works. And the boring stuff works. And people have to remember that. And then people say, well, I can't live like that. Well, that's where cheat days come in. Cheat days are a cheat meal. If you schedule them, and you eat about the same amount of junk, whatever, on your weekly cheat meal every time, it'll all balance out. It's boring, but it works. The same thing with training. Really, what gives us the gains? Progressive overload. Working muscles through appropriate ranges of motion with appropriate resistance. Okay? Appropriate volumes. And then progressive overload. Right? So in other words, you can't do a pull-up. You saw me doing some pull-ups there. If over time you just do lots of assisted pull-ups, you do a reverse band, you do assisted pull-ups. Until you can do tons of them, then you take the band out and you get to where you can do 5 pull-ups. Okay? And you work towards 6 and towards 7, towards 8, towards 9, towards 10. And when you get to 10, you add weight, work up with a 5-pound weight. All the way until you get up to 10 reps with a 45-pound plate. Will that ever stop working? No. That will work for the rest of your life. Your lats will continue to grow for 20 years straight if you do that. But that's boring. It's too simple. It's boring. But it works. Now, granted, this is where coaching and things come in, of course, to fine-tune it, to keep people on track, to manage fatigue, to manage your form, right? That's what we do as coaches. But the basics will always work. Same thing with some curls, right? I'm doing some preacher curls with a dumbbell. If you build up over years and years on a dumbbell preacher curl, and you just build reps and build weight on it, your biceps will grow for 10, 20 years. Hey, the boring stuff never stops working. And in fact, it works great because you're consistent. It's easy to track. Boring stuff is easy to track. Everyone chases the new. They chase the exciting. And I would argue that's a disadvantage. It is actually a disadvantage to do that. And if people need it to adhere, then man, that's going to be rough, isn't it? Because they're actually putting themselves at a disadvantage on all of these goals. Needing to exercise ADHD, workout ADHD. And then they're losing consistency, they're losing tracking of their progressive overload over extended periods of time. Unless you keep up with those and you track those lifts when you rotate them back in, which a lot of lifters do, and I recommend people do. Again, another topic. All right? But it's boring. Same thing with the food. Everyone wants the new and exciting. They want to have this wide variety of food. Okay? Except it's harder to lose weight when you do that. And it's harder to track. Okay? It's harder to track. Boring works. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.